Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into something I think a lot of us are feeling, this constant flood of information, the pressure to keep up, deliver results.
hmm
And now, especially with artificial intelligence everywhere in the conversation,
hmm
maybe you've even had that little niggle of worry, could AI make us?
Well, obsolete. That feeling is definitely out there. Being overwhelmed, maybe a bit uncertain with tech changing so fast.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
Totally. So our mission today isn't about feeding those fears. It's more about really getting under the hood of how our brains process things versus how AI does it,
Right.
and exploring why these differences actually set them up to be potentially really great partners, not
Yeah.
rivals fighting for the same space.
And guiding us through this is some really insightful work by Marynês Pereira. She's a neurobusiness specialist, decades of experience
Over 40 years, yeah.
in the corporate world. Her article, Neurobusiness of Processing, Why Our Brain Boils and AI is the Essential Partner, Not the Rival You Need. That's really our foundation today. So full credit to Marynês Pereira for these ideas.
Absolutely. And her core point really is that thriving now, not just surviving, means understanding what makes our brains unique and what makes AI unique, their strengths and their limits.
Understanding both sides.
Yeah, only then can we figure out how they best work together. Okay, so let's unpack that. Starting with, well, us. This amazing, sometimes baffling thing between our ears of the human brain.
It really is incredible, isn't it? Creativity, intuition, complex strategy. But like Marynês Pereira points out in her work, at its heart, it's biological,
Biological, meaning.
meaning its main drivers are survival and, crucially, saving energy. Homeostasis, keeping things stable. It takes a ton of energy to run our bodies and brains, so evolution made us efficient.
Okay, efficiency. So how does that play out with information? The article suggests, like, when we see the same stuff over and over or focus for ages, we actually start missing things.
Exactly. Sounds weird, but it's an energy-saving trick. The brain learns patterns, automates things, generalizes, so it doesn't have to burn max calories analyzing every single detail every time. It's looking for the shortcut, basically.
Huh. But that efficiency, it has a cost, right? This idea of cognitive exhaustion.
It does. When you push hard, focusing intensely for a long time, that really taxes the prefrontal cortex, your brain's CEO, essentially.
Right.
And neurotransmitter levels can get kind of depleted. Plus, as Marynês Pereira discusses, cortisol, the stress hormone, can creep up.
And too much cortisol isn't good.
Definitely not long-term. It can affect things like memory and higher thinking.
So what does it look like when our brain starts to, boil, as the article title puts it? What are the signs it's overloaded?
Well, the quality of your thinking just dips. You're more likely to miss important details. Your ability to think strategically, see the big picture, that gets fuzzy.
And creativity probably goes out the window.
Yeah, that creative spark, it fizzles. The brain is basically trying to conserve resources for what it sees as more immediate needs.
And yet there's this whole culture around powering through, isn't there? Just grind it out. But Marynês Pereira argues against that, based on the neuroscience.
Strongly argues against it. The science is pretty clear, even if it feels countercultural. Just pushing harder doesn't equal better results.
So what does it equal?
Mostly just more exhaustion, more chance of errors, missing the obvious. She suggests we actually need deliberate breaks. Brain cooling periods, she calls them. Maybe every couple of hours of intense focus.
Okay, cooling down. What does that actually mean? What kinds of things help?
The article gives some great practical examples: getting up and moving, physical activity, truly disconnecting from the task at hand.
Like not just switching to check email.
Exactly,
Yeah.
stepping away. Also, basic stuff like nutrition, enough glucose for brain fuel and oxygen, maybe through some conscious deep breaths.
And these aren't just like feel-good things. There are actual brain benefits.
Oh, absolutely. Tangible neurological benefits. These breaks help restore that balance, that homeostasis. They help lower cortisol.
Okay.
And interestingly, they can activate brain networks linked to creativity, the default mode network. So that downtime isn't wasted. It's essential for coming back sharper, more accurate. That's the high-value human work.
That really flips the script on taking breaks. Okay, so that's our biological processor. Now let's switch gears to the digital one everyone's talking about, AI.
Right. Artificial intelligence,
Exactly.
especially these big language models, they operate on totally different rules than our brains.
Different how?
As Marynês Pereira emphasizes, their processing isn't driven by biology, survival, or saving metabolic energy. Their main constraint is computational cost, basically electricity.
And the sheer scale of processing. It's just way beyond us, isn't it?
Oh, completely different ballpark. AI can chew through information at speeds we can't even imagine. Its knowledge comes from these enormous data sets.
Yeah.
It was trained on billions of texts, code snippets, you name it.
Wow.
And it processes information in chunks called tokens, parts of words, usually incredibly fast. Millions, maybe billions of operations a second.
And the killer difference, highlighted in the article, AI doesn't get tired like we do.
Exactly. No biological fatigue,
Yeah.
no stress hormones messing things up, no cognitive decline after hours of work.
Because he can just keep going.
204/7, consistently. Maintaining access to all that data without, its brain getting fuzzy and needing a coffee break.
Which makes it really good for certain things.
Definitely. Crunching huge data sets, finding specific details buried in mountains of text, doing repetitive tasks accurately over and over again. AI excels there. It doesn't get bored or miss things because it's trying to save energy.
Okay, tireless, detail-oriented powerhouse. But, and this is crucial, Marynês Pereira points this out too, it has limitations, big ones.
Huge ones. And they come from it not being biological. AI doesn't have consciousness. It doesn't have genuine human intuition. Its intuition is pattern matching from its data.
Right, it's statistical.
Exactly. It lacks deep understanding from lived experience in the real world. It can process rules about ethics, sure, but it doesn't feel ethical dilemmas or understand consequences like a person does.
Okay, so two very different processors. Our brain, biological, gets tired, but has that spark of creativity, intuition, deep context. AI, digital, tireless, amazing with details, but no consciousness or real-world grounding.
Precisely. And that's where the partnership idea, central to neurobusiness of processing, becomes so powerful.
Partnership, not replacement.
Exactly. Marynês Pereira frames it as strategic complementary, where we falter because of biology fatigue, missing details under pressure, AI steps in. But where AI falls short, that disruptive idea, the judgment call based on experience, complex ethics, putting it all together after a mental reset, that's where we are irreplaceable.
So AI becomes like an untiring co-pilot. That's a phrase used in the article, I think.
Yeah, it's a great analogy. It handles the heavy lifting of processing, searching, summarizing, drafting, analyzing details, freeing up our energy for the stuff only humans can do.
Which brings us back to that can't I just push through question.
Right. The answer becomes clearer.
Yeah.
You don't have to push your brain to the breaking point because AI can handle the continuous load while you take those vital recovery breaks.
So focus shifts from hours logged to the quality of focus during peak brain time.
Exactly. And AI helps maximize those peak windows by handling the stuff that usually drains us and triggers stress.
And this partnership, it's not just about me and my to-do list, is it? Marynês Pereira mentions broader impacts too.
Oh, yeah. Think about workplaces. If we use AI smartly, it could seriously cut down on stress, burnout, that collective feeling of being overloaded.
Lowering the collective cortisol levels, maybe?
You can put it that way. It frees up human potential for the really unique contributions. Innovation, empathy, complex problem solving, ethical oversight. Things machines can't do.
So looking at it this way, maybe a lot of the anxiety around AI comes from, well, from not fully getting our own limitations as biological beings.
That's a really key insight from the article, I think. Once you accept that our brains need that balance, that homeostasis, and that cognitive exhaustion is real.
Then AI doesn't look so much like a threat.
Exactly. It looks like a tool, a potentially invaluable partner to help us work with our biology, not constantly fight against it, to be more effective and, frankly, more sustainable.
And Marynês Pereira's conclusion seems to be that real effectiveness going forward in work and life comes from smartly combining these two types of intelligence.
Intelligently orchestrating them, yeah. It means we have to update how we think about productivity. Less about punching a clock for endless hours.
More about the results we achieve.
More about results,
Yeah.
enabled by this human-AI teamwork.
Okay, so a final thought for you listening.
Huh?
Maybe think about your own work, your own information load. Where could you strategically bring in AI to handle some of that processing burden?
Right, to free up your brain.
To free up your brain for its best work, for creativity. And critically, don't forget the power, the absolute necessity of those strategic cooling breaks for your own biological processor.
That's the core message, really. This powerful synergy is possible when we understand our own cognitive limits and use AI smartly to boost performance and cut down on burnout. It's all laid out so well in Marynês Pereira's work.
And again, this whole deep dive has been grounded in the fantastic article, Neurobusiness of Processing, Why Our Brain Boils in AI is the Essential Partner, Not the Rival You Need, by Marynês Pereira. Huge thanks to her for her insights.
Definitely.
We really hope this gives you some food for thought on how you manage information, productivity, and maybe even your relationship with AI going forward.